My name is James Carter. I'm 32, born in Vancouver, raised near Seattle, now living quietly in Maine with my golden retriever, Leo, who's more family than most people I've known. I have a good job, a decent apartment, a life that looks fine on paper. But beneath the surface, I carry a story I've never told. Until now. It begins with a woman, a gate, and words that still haunt me. I was waiting for you. It was late September, that fragile time when summer clings to the air and autumn whispers in the shadows. The sky glowed soft pink, the evening cool, but not yet cold. I was walking Leo down our usual path, past weathered fences, sleepy maples, and an old house with a wild garden. Untamed roses spilling over a rusted mailbox, ivy choking the bricks. That house always drew my eye, a relic of forgotten stories. No one ever came or went. Until that night, Leo tugged his leash, growling low, not in fear but curiosity. The wooden gate creaked open, and there she stood. A woman, maybe 30, auburn hair loose, strands framing her face. Barefoot in faded jeans and a white t-shirt, she seemed woven into the earth itself. Her eyes, green or gray, impossible to pin down, held something deeper than color, something like secrets. She smiled faintly and said, "I was waiting for you." I froze. "Sorry, do I know you?" I stammered. "No," she said, stepping forward, the gate swinging shut. "But I know you." She glanced at Leo. "Your dog's beautiful." I nodded, gripping the leash tighter. "We're just heading home. Don't go yet." Her voice was soft, an invitation I couldn't refuse. I don't know why I followed her into that garden. Maybe it was the way the fading sun lit her collarbone, or how Leo trotted him like he belonged. We sat on a cracked stone bench under a tangle of grapevines, silence settling between us like dusk. "I'm Ava," she said finally. "I lived here as a girl. Then life happened, and I left." I glanced around the overgrown yard. "Looks like no one's touched this place in years." "No one has," she said. "Until last week. That's when I came back." "Why?" She plucked a dried grape from the vine, rolling it between her fingers before letting it fall. "I thought I'd buried things here. Turns out they buried me." I didn't know what to say. I didn't need to. Over the next week, I walked Leo past her house daily. She was always there, on the porch steps, sometimes barefoot, sometimes sketching in a notebook. We talked about everything: her love for jazz, my corporate burnout, her years in London, my guilt over failing my younger brother to addiction. She listened like no one else, her presence a quiet anchor. Once I asked, "What do you do for work?" She smiled, no teeth. "I'm in between things. Jobs, people." One evening, I brought her coffee. She invited me inside. The house smelled of lavender and something older, faded paper, locked away memories. In a room filled with canvases, she showed me her paintings, shadowed trees, faceless lovers, grief in every brushstroke. "A therapist told me to paint my pain," she said. "It didn't help, but it gave it a home." Our evenings became nights. Our connection too raw to be casual, too fragile to call love. It was there in the way she poured my tea, whispered stay when I stood to leave, the way Leo rested his head in her lap like he'd known her forever. But something was wrong. She never used a phone, never left the house. Her mailbox overflowed with unopened letters. She never mentioned family. Not once. One night, I asked, "Where's your family now?" Her eyes aged beyond her face. "Gone." "Ow." She traced the rim of her teacup. They think I died. I laughed, uneasy. That's dark. She didn't smile. That night, I searched her name, Ava Lorraine Sutter. An article from 7 years ago stopped my heart. Local artist missing. House abandoned. Suspected suicide. Same name, same house, same eyes in the grainy photo. Her body was never found. Her words echoed. They think I died. I didn't sleep. The shadows in my room heavier, pressing down with disbelief. The next morning, I found her in the garden, brushing dew from the vines. She didn't look up. You searched me, didn't you? My throat tightened. How did you? Everyone does. She turned, eyes calm but dark. What did you think? That I'm a ghost? That I came back to seduce a man walking his dog? I don't know what to think, I said. I need the truth. She nodded to the bench. Seat. I'll tell you what no one else knows. We sat. She took a shaky breath. I didn't die, James, but I disappeared. I was in love, Evan, my college sweetheart. We built this house, planted these vines. But he was controlling. Slowly, I lost myself, friends, painting everything. Then I found messages, dozens, between him and my sister. Her voice cracked. When I confronted them, they called me unstable. One morning, I woke up to nothing. Bank account gone, my name off the house. They reported me missing. I stared, speechless. I walked away, she said. No money, no ID. I went off the grid, London, Scotland, art collectives. A half-life. Then I came back to see if I still existed. And now, I asked, I'm learning to trust again, to be touched without flinching, to be loved without vanishing. That night, I kissed her, gentle, careful like holding glass. She kissed me back, like someone surfacing for drowning. We saw each other daily. Her paintings brightened, hands reaching, light piercing trees. But the past wasn't done with her. Point one Friday, I left work early to surprise her. Through the window, I saw her in the back room, talking to a man. His voice was low, sharp, hers strained. I stepped inside. He turned, and I knew him instantly. Evan from the article. Her ex. He smirked cold, just saying hello. Didn't know Ava had company. She stood firm. James, he came uninvited. Evan's eyes narrowed. Playing house in the ruins? Goo. To me, be careful, James. You don't know her like I do. Leave, I said, stepping closer. Now. He smirked again and left. I turned to Ava. Why was he here? Her hand shook. Letters. Calls from blocked numbers. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to leave. Why would I leave? Because people do. That night, we sat on the porch, hands clasped, Leo at our feet. I realized I was falling in love with a woman whose past could ruin us both. A week later, Ava was gone. The gate hung open, the house unlocked. Her paintings, clothes, even her cold tea remained, but she was gone. Leo whined, pacing the porch like he felt her absence. 5 months later, a package arrived. No return address. Inside, a sketch of me and Leo on the garden bench with a note. Some people aren't meant to be found, but you made me feel found, even for a little while. Thank you. I read it 100 times, each word a quiet wound. I searched hospitals, shelters, coastal towns she'd mentioned. Nothing. But her art surfaced online under Arden Vale. Her brushstrokes, her shadows. One painting stopped me. A man with a leash, a dog, a woman fading behind a gate. She'd painted us. Years passed. I moved, changed jobs, but Ava stayed with me. Not her absence, but her presence. The way she saw me, really saw me like no one else had. People ask why I live alone with Leo and too many books, why I never settled down. I smile and say, some stories change you forever. If they press, I add, she had wild vines and eyes that made you forget the season. What I don't say is this. Ava taught me love doesn't always last. Sometimes it's a fleeting gift, waking you to who you are when you're truly seen. She didn't stay, but she gave me back my ability to feel, to risk, to hope, even after breaking. In a world obsessed with forever, some stories don't need to end together. They just need to remind you you're still alive.